Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. It's Saturday, and I love Saturday, and nothing I like more than spending the entire day on my laptop doing my taxes, my kids' taxes, my late mom's taxes. Oh, today is going to be so much fun. Matt Rife, I told you he's got to deal with Netflix. Part of that is a comedy series. I guess it's a sitcom. Comedy series is the language they're using. It takes place at a gym. On the MarySue.com, Rachel Leichman did not react well to that, and she wrote, I guess we learned the wrong lessons from Matt Rife's Netflix special Natural Selection. Remember when he turned on his entire fan base during the special? None of that matters, apparently, because now he's on the path towards even more Netflix content. Yay? Well, at least he's going back to his roots. His next special will be Netflix's first all-crowd work special, so I guess you won't hear jokes written by Rife, but instead just watch a show that's a longer version of his TikTok videos. Speaking of Deadline, he'd previously talked about acting and how much he loves it more than stand-up. Rife said, I love acting just as much, if not more than stand-up. I just haven't been doing it as long, and I haven't been able to get my foot in the door as well as I have with stand-up. But now that I have freedom and success via stand-up, it opens up avenues in other areas that I'm passionate about, like film and television, that I'm hoping I can make that transition over to, because it can only feed itself. Rachel writes, this sounds like hell. Rife has proven that his written jokes lean towards sexism, so why would I want to see an entire show where he's acting out said jokes? The workplace comedy setup has been done time and time again, and while the deal simply says that he can do it, I don't really want to see what it means. Fun. See, I'm all in favor of more Matt Rife content because I like controversy. The 800-pound gorilla talked to Kyle Kinane about his recent special. I gave you 5 days. Did I give you 5 days? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I gave you 4.5 days to watch Kyle Kinane's special. I had mentioned, I think in that special, about 10 minutes in, there's an all-timer bit. I'm about to spoil what the bit's about. I'm not going to discuss any of the jokes, but by listening to me further, you will find out what the all-time bit is about. You've been warned. Ready? The 800-pound gorilla said, your bit in the new special about the Fast and the Furious franchise is inspired. Kyle said, I mean, we all know what they are. It's not going to go down as one of the best films of the century, but go have fun with it. People like Star Wars. I don't care about that. These are my Star Wars. That's my Marvel universe. Gorilla was curious about the construction of a bit, and Kyle said, I think you just have to allow yourself to get carried away sometimes. Let's see how far I can go before the audience is like, okay, we're now off board from this premise. What bit took the longest to come together in this new special? Kyle said, the full special, most of it is just a 45-minute story about moving to the suburbs. But stuff like this isn't a conscious effort like this story starts here and ends there. You just start telling it one night and then you remember another detail you can add into it. Here's another story that seemed unrelated, but I can put it into this. Before you know it, you're talking for 45 minutes about moving to the suburbs. So I'll chime in here. As I said the other day, I loved the special, but it was like the difference between 2 beers and 9 beers, and I was loving it, and 75 minutes in, I was like, okay, can we wrap this up? I went from like, is this going to beat a tell or be up there with a tell to, okay, can we stop already? And I really liked it. I'm trying to explain my emotions here. I both really liked it and thought it was too long, and that's what she said. I'm sorry, I had to do it. It was right there. You were thinking it. I had to. I know, I try and keep it clean here, but it was right there. Michael Scott does it. John, are you saying you aspire to be Michael Scott? Yeah, maybe. I digress. So if Kyle's got 45 minutes about moving to the suburbs, maybe that could have been one special, and then the Fast and the Furious stuff with some other things could have been another special. And I would have went, oh, both specials are amazing. Again, it was really good. It was just too long. You're thinking it. Stop thinking it. I didn't say anything that time. You thought it on your own. My mic just crashed again. That's my mom's ghost. My mom didn't like that humor there. See, I got to keep it clean here. Brian Regan spoke to the Montecito Times. They wrote, critics, fans, and fellow comics love him, including Jerry Seinfeld, who had him guest on 2 episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Times was curious how Regan's approach to comedy's changed over the years. Brian said, I want to talk about things that are interesting to me. When I was younger, my material was about coming out of my childhood. I had Little League baseball routines and things about feeling stupid in school. But now I like to touch on things that are maybe a little bumpy or edgy, which might surprise people. Right? Imagine if Brian Regan suddenly went into it. That's what she said. That would be pretty edgy. I still don't want my audience to get to the point where they feel uncomfortable or wish they hadn't come, but I do like to talk about guns and crime and philosophy in a lighthearted way as possible, but I do sneak a point of view in there. I think sometimes audiences might go, whoa, we didn't expect this. Where are the donut sprinkle jokes? Yeah, you got to be careful of those audiences. You know, you might be this comic on the rise and suddenly you tell a horrible, mean joke about Taylor Swift. I mean, remember Joe Coy did that one time? If you don't remember, let me refresh your memory.
The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's so mean. It's just brutal. I mean, Joe Coy, what are you doing? No wonder Taylor Swift apparently murdered his career. He deserved it for that one. That was just vicious. I mean, suggesting that they showed Taylor Swift on football games? How dare you? Nuvo.net spoke to Brad Williams, who said at first having dwarfism was a great benefit to his career because people wanted to put me on all their shows. They wanted to have something different on their shows. So at first, when you're different, it helps because you check a box and you get put on shows that you probably don't deserve to be on. They need somebody who doesn't look like every other person on the show. So it helped me at first. But once you start getting good, agents and club owners and all that just see you as the gimmick. They don't see you as a person who's just really good at comedy. So that was the challenge I had overcome. Now I'm in theaters, and it's taken me 20 years. When people say, oh, Brad Williams came out of nowhere, I'm like, 20-year overnight sensation? Okay, sure. Brad was apparently the first comedian to headline a Cirque du Soleil show. He told the story. They reached out to my manager, Barry, and they said, hey, we're thinking about having a comedian in a Cirque show. Who do you think would work? My manager's first response was Brad Williams. Cirque was like, cool, that's great. We're going to look at some other people, too. They did for a month, and they came back to my manager and said, we looked, and yeah, you're right. Brad Williams is who we want. My first reaction was, hell yes. I liked being part of a team. It was a challenge to go on after the guys who literally juggle each other with their feet, but it was fun to try and win people over who weren't exactly there for stand-up comedy, but I would, and it was great. I loved doing it. Sorry I couldn't stay there longer, do more, but it was coming to a time where I was like, well, I could stay here, do Cirque du Soleil, and make this money for the rest of my life, or I could bet on myself and go solo. He said, thank God I did, because if I was still in Vegas, I wouldn't be playing the Egyptian Room in Indianapolis. All right, let's see who's at the Melbourne Comedy Festival on Sunday, April 7th. Again, the way time zones work, you know, if the Melbourners got up today and grabbed the episode, they're like, John, it's already Sunday here. I don't know why you're telling us who's playing Saturday night, so that's why I don't do that. I'm telling you who's playing Sunday night, and I actually have the website loaded for once. Now, you're probably thinking, John, are you lying to us? Did you record Friday and Saturday back-to-back and the website was already loaded? Busted. You think I would actually remember to load it? Now, what's weird, when I pulled up the Sunday page, usually I have vertical lines here. Today I have boxes. I don't know why they gave me boxes today. Here's a show that supposedly has a clip. We know how that goes. It's Adam McKenzie hacked, and with the box here, I can see his graphic. It looks like a man in a suit, and where the head should be is a monitor, like a TV monitor, like an old 4x3 size monitor, with a man, presumably Adam McKenzie, making a funny face. The description in September 22, Adam was part of Australia's largest ever cybersecurity disaster. In this hilarious new show, Adam dives deep into the dark web, and finds out just how much of our identities they've stolen. The Age gave it 4 stars, and let's listen. All the edits you're about to hear and the bleep, those are in Adam's clip. I did not make any of these edits, but I have listened to this clip already. You're going to like it.
I also used to watch, when I was 16 years old, a little TV show called Beverly Hills 90210. Yeah! You know what I'm talking about. I'll give you an episode synopsis. Brenda and Kelly, they were fighting over a role in the school play, and it got really intense, guys. But then they realised their friendship was way more important, and they became best friends again. You. Right? What do teenagers like to watch these days? Yeah? They watch a little teen drama called Euphoria. Do you want an episode synopsis from Euphoria? Oh, okay. Nate watches every one of his dad's sex tapes. Meanwhile, Ashtray murders Mouse with a hammer. Oh my god. You wouldn't believe what happened. Brandon and Brenda had their Friday night bowling plans disrupted by their parents. Oh no. Meanwhile, Rue lies naked in a bathtub while Laurie shoots her up with heroin.
Wow, that was really good. Like him a lot. Adam McKenzie, that show's called Hacked. Let's do one without a clip. Alexandra Hudson's show is called Making Lemonade. Alexandra believes if society thinks of her as a lemon, she might as well use them to make herself some sweet lemonade. Alexandra explores her experiences as a disabled woman and challenges the misconceptions held about her. Alexandra took joint first place in Raw Comedy in 2022. That is a big award. And was a 2023 Comedy Zone cast member. No reviews. Jess Pierman's show is called Champagne Problems. It's a classic stand-up about human behavior, beauty standards, and society gone wrong, privilege, and partying, all delivered In a punchline-heavy and confronting show, if you're a fan of the dark, the filthy, and the philosophical, this show's not to be missed. Easily offended need not apply, but it's for audiences 15 and up, no reviews. And as my computer just reminded me, I have a conference call in 9 minutes. That means that's your comedy news for today. Can I do a quick story here? Daniel Sloss spoke to the Telegraph in India. And they said, in India, we're used to stand-up comedians switching between 2 or 3 languages, which is not the case in the UK. Do you enjoy that approach to a show? Daniel Sloss said, yeah, I do enjoy watching Indian comedians do their punchlines in Hindi and their setups in English. Yeah, I noticed that on the... there's a version, I don't want to misspeak to which language it is, but there's a foreign language version of The Office that is switching between English and I think Hindi. You'll find that on Hulu. It's fun, but they just go back and forth, and I figured out I can read captions. It makes the comedy hard to follow, but there's something very fun about mixing it up like that. I can somewhat relate to the fact if I'm getting particularly angry for a joke or I'm performing in Scotland, I have a thicker accent than I do anywhere else in the world. They asked, in what ways is Daniel Sloss the performer different from Daniel Sloss the person? Daniel said, I guess I'm more arrogant on stage. I'm actually confident off it, but I'm not an in-your-face piece of crap. I guess I'm definitely more insecure in real life. I think I'm a nicer person in real life, maybe. I'm much friendlier when I'm on stage. In real life, I'll not talk to anyone, but on stage, I'll talk to people quite happily, and that's because I don't have to listen to their feedback. That's the problem with conversations. Other people get input. And that's your comedy news. Johnny Mac's got a conference call. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. Tell a friend about it. See you tomorrow.